Hopefully everyone had an opportunity to stretch their legs and move that blood back to your brains. But if you didn't, because you sat and you checked your email and you did some work, we are going to do just a small energizer to get you up and to get that blood moving. So we're going to do the one. Jamie is our energizer queen.
And as facilitators, a great resource is called Classroom Activators. Bob will put it up on Edmodo. We are doing called Ooh Ah. In a minute, you are going to stand in a circle and hold hands. Tiffany, join us, sweetie.
I have chocolate on my hands. That's okay. I'll just lick my fingers when I'm done. Sorry.
We're a strange group. So one person starts. Liz, come join us. Kristen, get up here. Come on, gang. Get the whole gang up here. Come on. Gretchen, here. I'll be bossy. I know you're shocked. Kim? Ping. Okay. So, energizers, why do you do them? We have a gifted group over here to energize. Yes. Because if your audience is flat, they'll think your presentation sucks. So as a trainer, you got to have ways to get people up. So this is an energizer just for the sake of movement, and it is called Circle Game Ooh Ah. So Holly's going to go first, and when she squeezes her right hand, she says, ooh. And then Christy has to keep it going, and so right hand is ooh, but left hand is ah. So they could do ooh, 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 so you could squeeze Tiffany ooh, and Tiffany could say ah. And has to squeeze back. So what do you have to? So right hand is ooh, left hand is ah. When you hear the music, where'd the remote go? When you hear the music, stand behind your chair and wait for the next set of directions. So they're standing behind the chair. Next set, they need to get in a group. When you hear the music, circle up and stand in a group holding hands. A group of two does not count, Gail. You can also dance like Liz and Christy. Decide who in your group is the youngest. If you are the youngest person in the group, raise your hand. If you are the youngest person in the group, raise your hand. If you are the youngest person in the group, raise your hand. Okay. You are the starter. If you say ooh, you squeeze with your right hand. If you say ah, you squeeze with your left hand. And you keep it going, or you try to keep it going without errors. When you hear the music, the youngest person starts. Pause your ooh-ahs. Turn so you can see me for the next set of directions. Now here's what I noticed. And this is the first time I've ever done this Energizer. Here's what I noticed. Smaller groups are better than bigger groups because you have to be engaged more quickly. So if you replicate this with your staff, another piece you might add to your directions is in groups of 4 or 5. Because that's what I noticed, that the smaller groups, well, and these guys were out of control, but that's another story. So, ooh-ah, quick way to get people up to do an Energizer as a trainer. If you are doing training at the end of the day, after they've been teaching and they come in and we're all exhausted, good opportunity to do an Energizer. But you should always respect your audience and tell them why. This is good for the brain. It's changing. We're getting endorphins as we're laughing. It's changing our energy level. We are more open and positive to new ideas. When you hear the music, you are going to give 3 different people a high five and head back to your seat.
I don't worry about germs. There's a couple people that said they need hand sanitizer for that activity. I'm like, nah. I was ready to lick the chocolate off. Okay. All right. So as my brain gets back around here, I have to share personal. I'm a grandma. I had my first grandbaby on Sunday, my birthday. That was the best birthday present ever. Little baby boy, Jackson Dodge Henry Carmichael. At least he gets to keep our name. So I'm so excited and thrilled about that. It's just such a fun thing to have happen, even though I feel very young to be a grandma, but at least I can enjoy it. Oh, so what we're going to do now is we're going to develop some common language. Now, this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky, because the common language on this particular slide is language that has come out of the Wiggins and McTighe book. And then we're going to show you how we have transferred that and how we've kind of morphed some of that into our backwards plan template. So you'll see both pieces of that. So when we think about knowledge, and you're going to be we're going to have a learning opportunity for you in just a moment with this. When you think about knowledge, you want to think about knowledge as those discrete skills. When we're using stage 1 for backwards planning for ours, we use that part in stage 3. We don't put that at stage 1. Knowledge are those lower level thinking activities or things that we want our students to know, but they're not going to live in stage 1. Think of knowledge as discrete skills. When you think of outcomes, and this is where Wiggins and McTighe call it also skills. So think of skills in this way, not as discrete skills, but as those high-level skills that we want our students to know and be able to do. We call those our outcomes in our GVC document. What are those big picture things? Building a house is a big picture skill. Hammering the nail is a discrete skill. So we want that big idea, those big skills that we want our students to know and be able to do. It sounds like big ideas was a big conversation among all the groups. That those were some things that maybe were maybe a little bit more confused on. And there's 2 different ways to look at the big ideas. Your big ideas are those big conceptual ideas, though your big themes that you want to be able to address within your unit. When you look at the enduring understandings, somebody had asked, why is it way down here with that funnel? Why do we have big ideas after essential questions and after enduring understanding? Shouldn't it come up more here? This actually is part of that narrowing then to your content. So you want to start really big where enduring understandings are not necessarily content related but more global. Your essential questions are still pretty big. Then your big ideas are starting to narrow down more towards your content. Now they should be able to carry across a couple different contents, maybe across different contexts, but it's once again narrowing, but not down to the exact content piece. So you're still doing that narrowing piece. And if you looked at one of our big ideas like coaching, that's a really big idea. I can use that across different contexts, across different contents. And that's what you want to be able to do with those big ideas. did you want to add something or no? Okay. And then understandings. In Wiggins and McTighe, they just call them understandings, and sometimes you'll see enduring understandings exchanged with it. But this is what the things that you want your students to know 40 years from now. What do you really want them to remember? What's that lifelong learning that they're going to walk away and constantly think back on? Okay. So what you guys are going to do now is we're going to do a sort activity at your table. I'm going to have my partners pass out just one one Post-it note to each group with a big Post-its. And at the top of that, you are going to label knowledge, outcomes, parentheses, skills, big ideas, and understandings. So across the top part of that. And then you're going to write, so we're doing a low-tech activity here right now. You are going to sort the following words and phrases into where you think they belong. And I'm going to leave this up here, but it's also on your presentation. And please don't push the next slide where it gives you all of the answers. See, we did this with the principals, and there was one group that went through and they got it perfect, but that was okay. So you're going to sort the following words underneath these different labels: knowledge, outcomes, big ideas, and understandings. We want you to talk about it. What does it look like? What would a mental construct or category, where would that fit? Where would that belong? So we're going to give you about 5 minutes, maybe 4 minutes to talk about all of these different phrases and put them in the correct category.
Can we go through the columns again? What are on the top? Should we model what Jamie's going to write? Okay.
Knowledge, outcomes, big ideas, and understandings. Stand up and yes, perfect. You can bring him, and I will also have him up here. So you can see where they're right up here. All right, music.